with Matt from The National. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. We're here opening up a 3-night homestand at Massey Hall, and it's great to have you back. Great history in Toronto. You know how much we care about the band, and it's been a nice evolution from the clubs up. We've done Massey before. We did the ACC, of course, last time with just when Trouble Will Find Me came out. We had the great show. Did you enjoy that? This little street party for North by Northeast last year? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah. That was, when was that?
Last June.
Last June.
Yeah.
That was a blast. And what square did we play
At Yonge and Dundas.
Yeah, yes. That was amazing. And so it's fun to do those kind of big outdoor things and then come back and do the theater things, and Massey Hall is so great. So yeah, we've had amazing times. We've been lucky to play these different types of places in Toronto and stuff. So yeah, we're psyched.
Now, this is a 3-nighter. Now, the last time was a 2-nighter, and I remember it specifically because I was standing at the side of the stage and I was watching this guy with a camera and getting elbows going, hey, somebody's filming this. And they went, that's Matt's brother. They're doing a documentary. Now here we are.
Were we doing a documentary at that point?
Yeah.
I think at that point he might have just been
making camera.
Yeah, a tour diary for his website or something like that. But it turned into a documentary.
Well, we've seen it, Mistaken for Strangers, and I tell you, it's one of the most enjoyable hour and 15 minutes I've had watching something. There's lots to talk about with that. But I think the one thing that came out of it was there's a real sweetness to it, and especially moments between you and your brother when there's laughter. Sometimes the laughter is like it comes out of funniness. Sometimes it comes out of some pain.
Yep.
But whenever that laughter happened, there was a real joy, and I think at the end of the day, the ups and downs, there's a real love between the two of you that surfaces in throughout the movie.
Yeah, I mean, my brother, he's 9 years younger, so we've always had this strange relationship where we weren't like brothers that would fight a lot or anything like that because he was so much younger. Until now we fight more that we're both adults. But yeah, it was amazing having him on tour. And then without giving too much away, like things went kind of badly after a while, and he got fired from the tour. And it wasn't totally my decision, but I supported that decision, and it needed to happen. But he was able to take that whole thing and make this crazy, weird documentary that's more about family than it is about rock and roll or being on tour. So it turned into something interesting and much more interesting than we expected.
There's a great line of fatherly, brotherly advice that you give to him when he's kind of not knowing where he fits in the whole thing, and you say to him, fake your way upwards. And I just thought that line was brilliant. Did somebody give that to you one day? Or?
No, that was something that I've had this, and it's one of those things, like, I don't know if it's good advice or not, but like I think it was a way of saying, like, even if you don't know what you're doing and you feel lost, just do it anyway, and just don't stop. Don't let that let self-doubt stop you from trying things, even if you fail. And so and even if you do fail, just forget about it and pretend that you succeeded and move on to the next thing and keep going forward. So I think when I say fake your way upwards, I think that's what I mean. But it is something that I believe in. Like, as a band, we had a lot of failure for many years at the beginning, and somehow some sort of delusional spin that we would always put on it made us think that when we did these shows with literally zero people or just a handful of people, and we were losing money and going to Europe, I think some sort of delusional sense of like that was still a win, even though it clearly wasn't. We would convince ourselves that it was worthwhile, and if we had really, we could have thrown in the towel many times early in our career, and I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we had this delusional optimism or something like that. So yeah.
And watching your parents talk about yourself and your brother in there, that's weird. Watching your parents discuss the two of you and your upbringing. What was it like for that from an emotional standpoint?
I mean, my parents, thankfully, I'm grateful that my parents I've always felt comfortable talking about the uncomfortable things. My parents, I could talk to my parents about almost anything. So can Tom, and we have an older sister. We've always had that. Our whole family has been very easy to spill our guts to each other, and I think I've extended that over into this band. I let my guard down, and that's the stuff that I find the most interesting and stuff, and I don't worry too much about humiliating myself, with the band or, with family or with this documentary. So so seeing my parents kind of talk about it, it wasn't like that strange because they've always kind of talked pretty openly our whole lives and stuff.
And has Tom's life changed since it's come out? Is he walking a little taller and
He is.
new opportunities opening up for him?
Well, he still lives with us because the movie just came out and it's a little documentary. It's not like he's gonna like buy a motorcycle or anything. Yeah, he is. I think he came out on the other side of this thing with a sense of himself that he didn't have before. Just at least a certain amount of confidence, more confidence than he had ever. And I think a lot of things in life can take the wind out of your sails, and that happened to Tom. And in college, he fell off the tracks a little bit, and he's not exactly sure what he wants to do now. He's been given a lot of offers to make little low budget horror films. He doesn't want to do that. Right. He did that in college and stuff, and he also he knows he's not a documentary filmmaker, and that's what he made. But that's not what he's. If you see the movie, you don't come out of it thinking that's what Tom's got a career doing. So strangely, he says he's more confused about what to do now that the movie's done and out in the world than he was before. But he's happier to try anything. Yeah. So.
Cool. The great line in Don't Swallow the Cap, if you want to see me cry, play Let It Be or Nevermind. My first thought when I heard it was the song Nevermind by The Replacements, so then I realized, okay, you're probably talking about the Nirvana record. Here we are with Nirvana into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame happening and stuff. Just some thoughts on Nevermind.
I mean, that's a record that makes you... I don't know. There's something. It made people realize you can, if you write good songs, it just doesn't matter what genre it is. They were like a metal band and they wrote these but they're obsessed with the Beatles, and then they made this thing that's transcends all that stuff in a crazy way. And yeah, so. And Michael Stipe, is inducting them, and there's just something just beautiful about even that thing, because Cobain always found Michael Stipe to be a person that he could always go to for things, and I don't know. That Nirvana is obviously a band that is changed rock and roll. Like a few bands out there, REM's one of them, but change everything about the way you think about rock and roll and think about music, and so that record's been a huge influence. But I mean, Let It Be, is it the Replacements or is it the Beatles version? That's like probably a little of both, but anyway, yeah.
When you mention REM, let's go back to 2008 and the best triple header in the history of rock with yourselves, Modest Mouse, and REM on the Accelerate tour. One of the great things, and people didn't know it at the time because we didn't know it their last tour, but seeing Johnny Marr come out and play Fall on Me with and seeing Buck and Marr together.
Yeah.
Really, the goalposts of guitarists from our generation.
Yeah, I mean, when we did that tour, that was to be. I mean, like a lot, we learned a lot from REM and specifically from that tour, and about how to grow gracefully and also how to just respect what you do. And Michael Stipe was somebody who said, don't forget that your band, you're friends first, and don't forget that every one of these shows, you might be playing these giant shows, you might be doing show after show after show, but every single person in that place, saved up money and is paying $50, and it might be the only rock show they go to see all year, and they might be in the last row, but you get you got to show. Don't take that for granted that these people are coming to see your band. That all these people care about the songs you're writing in your bedrooms, and Michael Stipe really made kind of for our band, helped us sort of grow up in a funny way and take the whole thing more seriously. Not that we didn't take it seriously, but to respect it, and so I think he gave us some guidance in a time when we were in a little bit of a dark place. He kind of showed us the flashlight a little bit. Yeah.
Now, speaking of Stipe and songwriting and lyric writing, it's interesting. Now, in the movie, you see your notebook. Now, I've often wondered, is there ever going to be a transition? I can't see people sitting down at the word processor or the computer writing lyrics. Lyrics need to be written in a notebook on a hanky when a thought comes in your mind, scribbling it down, returning to it. Is anything changed in your process of writing songs over the last decade?
I mean, I only write lyrics when I'm listening to music that those guys are sending me. So, I mean, occasionally I'll have an idea for a phrase or something that I'll hear, and I'll steal it from something. I'll put it in my phone, and sometimes that stuff ends up in a song. But mostly, my process is put on my headphones, open up an MP3 that Aaron and Bryce or those guys have sent me, drink some wine, and just start singing along and mumbling, nonsense until it starts to form, bits and pieces of ideas and narratives and all that kind of stuff. And it's my process has become incredibly fun. I used to rack my brain trying to sit, and I used to sit there with just a notebook, not listening to music. And somebody described writing like just squeezing drops of blood from your forehead, and that's the way it was for me towards the beginning. And then I started just relaxing more about it, and just with my headphones, the blood falls out of my forehead much easier than it used to, I guess, for whatever reason. I don't know if I'm a better writer, but I'm enjoying writing songs more than I ever have in my life, yeah.
Where did was Lean left over from the Trouble Will Find Me sessions, the song on the Hunger Games soundtrack? I really like that song.
No, I mean, it was. I mean, there might have been fragments that came from those sessions that we turned into that song, but most of it, I mean, from my perspective, I wrote. I wasn't thinking about Hunger Games so much, but in this in the world of that, I mean, the idea of life and death, and the song was originally called "Dying Is Easy," and yeah, I don't know. There were a lot of the Trouble Will Find Me. There's a lot of focus or rumination on mortality, I think, and so that was another song that fit in that world, and it felt really natural to write that at the time, and it felt fitting for Hunger Games, and it wasn't like I was thinking about any Hunger Games characters or story arcs or anything like that, other than the fact that yes, a lot of people do die in that film series, but I was actually, that song is almost like I was thinking of it almost like Suicide is Painless kind of sort of thing. Has a little bit of that flavor to it, yeah. I mean, it's nice to write things that aren't for one of our records. And I mean, like we wrote a song, for a video game called Portal too, and that was really amazing to know that what you're writing is actually going to live in this completely different universe than what you're used to. And we've written songs for movies. There's a movie called Win Win that we wrote a song for that was really, really a great experience. We've started to really embrace and take a lot of these little opportunities to write songs that are not just about a record or our band, but they're actually in service of something else. And I think that's opened up some windows for us, like just mentally and creatively in a good way.
Let's talk about your nightly sojourn into the audience. And are there ever nights when either something happened the night before or you're just not feeling it and you don't go?
Yeah, there are. I mean, I go out in the crowd a lot more than I don't.
Right.
There are sometimes festivals where and it's not. I'm not never worried about myself, but the crush. Some of these festivals. If it's 50,000 people squeezing into a place. I mean, that gets dangerous. And I mean, there have been a couple times being out there where it just gets too dangerous for everybody. People fall and when you get a mob like that. So I don't always do it. And when I do it, I usually these festivals I usually go out by the garbage cans or the fence to the side where kind of either the drunk people are passed out or other people are not really right there in the front row. That's a fun place to go and or in the hallways of venues and stuff like that. I've gone into elevators and behind bars and stuff when I go a lot of times I'm looking for sort of an escape, not escape from the room, but escape from the lights and the stage. So that whole thing of going out and breaking down that fourth wall, whatever it is, and making the room feel together is when I first did it, it was a strange thing. The chemistry of the whole show and room changed, and so I've gotten a little addicted to doing it. But yes, it's not always smart.
And let's talk about the new LP. I mean, it's already been a year since Trouble Will Find Me. Where are you guys on the next recording?
We are not thinking that much. We are actually thinking and talking about, but we haven't started writing anything. We're kind of a band that when we're on tour, it's about being a great live band, and we're trying to dig into like a lot of our old songs and play those now more and to try to put together a whole big live collection if we can. So we have not started writing a new record. When I have a feeling that like a week after the tour ends, all of a sudden we'll start ideas will start to fly back and forth. But we don't write a lot when we're on the road. We all kind of have to go to our own back to our bedrooms a little bit before the new songs start coming out.
Well, we heard that we like the zoo, so there is something new from you, from the kids' record. Just tell us about that.
That's another example of, I mean, recently I've done a bunch of I didn't do any writing on that song, but Walter Martin from the Walkmen, we've known those guys for a long time. He's made this really beautiful record, and it's a lot of them are I wouldn't say it's a kid's song record. The song I sing on definitely is. It's called "We Like the Zoo." It's about zoo animals, but he's somebody he has a great deal of love and respect for like those old songs like Yakety Yak and like all kind of, he wanted to make a record that had that thing when he was you're a young person, a really young person. Those records that just feel so fun and it's before you start listening to the Smiths at that that age where you're like you don't want to deal with the Smiths yet. So he's made a record, and the whole record is really beautiful. Really, the songs are great. I mean, the song I sing on is fun, but some of the other songs are really moving and really powerful and just beautiful songs. So that's been fun to do. I've also helped write a theme song for the new show Turn. There's a show on AMC called Turn that I collaborated with Joy Williams and this guy Charlie Peacock to write that thing. And that's been like another example of like writing for something and outside of your own sort of little crucible of your own little band, and it's been really cool. Really
is there a poetry book or anything coming like that?
No, I'm not I don't. No, I'm not. I don't think of what I do is poetry at all. It's there's songs, and like I said, I don't write unless I'm listening to the music. So taking
out of context,
taking out of context, I don't think it works. And I've always been reluctant to even put the lyrics in the liner notes. We've done that in our last record. I'm not sure if we did it the one before, but seeing the words just on their page, that's never the where they were for me. I've never just looked at a set of lyrics and say, oh, those are good. I only process the words or think of the words in context of the music and stuff. So no, I don't think I'm going to do some sort of poetry thing. Who knows? I mean, but poetry is I think of poetry as ice skating, whereas song lyrics is more slopping around in puddles or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's keep our boots on and let's go do some more slopping.
I will.
All right. Cool.
I'd rather be 4'8", I think. Yeah, 8'4" would be a little scary. Yeah, I could get a Game of Thrones job though.